And we're back for another exciting episode. And this week will be an exceptionally painful week as the Wrights are taking over 50% of the podcast. That is right. We have a special guest, my brother, Jason Wright. Say hi.
Hello.
And we are going to be doing a little bit different talk this week as Jason isn't your normal maker like you think of a woodworker electronics. He actually makes digital content. So we'll be getting to that in a little bit, but I just want to say a huge thank you to our patrons on Patreon. Thanks for supporting and helping make this better. If you want to find out more about that, you can go to Patreon/Creators Collective and help us out there. Also, if you want to listen to us, we record live every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. You can see that on YouTube, the Creators Collective YouTube channel. And of course, you can always listen to us on podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, you know all those. So let's get into it. This week we have a special guest, Jason. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Well, I am a voice talent. So pretty much I make specialty sound effects for various uses throughout the internet. If ever you have heard somebody's voice but not seen them actually speaking, not seen their face, that's a voice talent getting paid right there. So those commercials for Burger King and McDonald's and Nike and all of that, if you hear somebody on your app talking to you, or if you're playing a game and you tell your little creature to move and he says, oh, of course I'll do that, sir. That's some voice talent in a small little booth like mine, saying that line 500 times until the person says, oh, that's really good. Oh, I really like that. That won't get annoying after 5 times of moving your troops around. So yeah, I get paid to talk to myself in a small little box.
Do you do like the prescription drug disclaimers?
Sometimes I do the prescription drug disclaimers, but those can sometimes cause death or irritability or
anal bleeding.
And sometimes they actually cause me to get paid. So that's nice. Yes, I like that.
You ever snuck that in there? Maybe they don't even.
No. You do have to keep to the script. There's not really a whole lot of leverage for me to use, a whole lot of leeway for me in the script department. I just get the ability to change the intonation and the read itself.
So, like, how did you get into this in the beginning? Were you just sitting around going, well, I speak well? And
well,
you have to know him growing up.
I've been acting since I was but a wee small child. Actually, the first voice that I ever did was mocking an infomercial, because I had been waking up in the middle of the night to take care of our 2-week-old puppy, and she was howling at night, didn't like to be left alone. So I'd go downstairs and hold the dog and stay awake while she slept and watch infomercials. And I'd wake up the next morning and I'll be like, hey, everybody, we need to get ourselves a Wonder Mop. It's so great. But wait, there's more. We can get 2 Wonder Mops. Oh, my. So, but then I've been doing that all my life. 5 years doing improv comedy, 4 years in college doing traditional drama. And then I spent 9 years in a factory, moving a cart around, picking up boxes, but they let me listen to whatever I wanted on my headphones. So I'd listen to podcasts, I'd listen to audiobooks, go to the library, get audiobooks, and I don't know how many times I'm listening to it. I'm like, you said that wrong. It's patina, not patina. What's a patina? And I'm like, I can read this book better than this person. And so finally I just said, fine, I'll read this book better than this person, and started auditioning and got jobs and got paid, and now it's my full-time job. So
for those of you who don't know or haven't realized, he's also the voice of the intro and outro on the Creators Collective.
It slices, it dices.
Yes.
Makes all your dreams come true.
And if you ever want to have a really fun time, go over to his website, withamic.com, and listen to some of the the fun voices and the background thing. It's a hoot. It's a good time.
So if you wanted to get into this, like how do you? No, honestly, because apparently the Home Depot, the voice talent for the Home Depot commercials is my doppelganger. Like I get like emails like weekly, like, "Hey, is that you?" Like on the Home Depot commercials, and I'm like, "No," but maybe I could. I don't know. So like, how do you break into this? Like, how do you?
Oh, well, it's like breaking into to writing books. Whenever somebody breaks in, they figure out how and they patch up the hole. So you've got to kind of come in your own direction. You got to find what you're good at. And that's going to take some practice and trying things. And if people are telling you, "Hey, you've got a great voice," and you're like the ads for what's a face, then go with that. Start there. You need a good mic.
So I mean, like, do I move to LA on the streets and become a waiter and start just talking to people?
Well, the nice thing about voiceover is you really don't have to go to LA or New York. If you want to be an on-camera personality, you really should be in LA or New York. But for voiceover, you can pretty much do it anywhere. I have clients right now in Russia and in Japan and in South Korea. I don't think I have anybody in China. I don't know. I just picked up a client over in the UK, and so that's kind of fun when we want to talk to each other and they're on the opposite side of the globe. One of us has to wake up early or stay up late. So yeah, you can pretty much do it anywhere. It just needs to be quiet with a good mic and a good set of headphones. And
cool.
There are people that just have a good microphone, a good pair of headphones, and they record on their computer, and that's what they do for the longest time in their walk-in closet with all the clothes hanging up.
I saw you recording out of the back of your van last time you were here.
Yes, that was fun. One of my clients came back and was like, "Hey, can you change this just a little bit?" And I was on vacation, and so I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll be right there." Just hopped into my van, closed everything, set up my computer, recorded real quick, hopped out. It's not something you can do for a big long narration, but it worked for a pickup. So
cool. Well, what you working on right now?
Oh, well, like I said, I just got hired by some people over in the UK, actually Oxford Medical. They are training surgeons and nurses, and they're doing a VR simulation. It's like a surgeon simulator, but actually for real. You're not moving around and accidentally killing the patient. Hopefully. And they're trying to actually train these doctors and nurses the steps needed to diagnose and treat patients. And so I am one of the on-call. Actually, I'm 3 of the on-call voices that they can pick up the phone in VR and say, "Hey, hematology or astrochemistry or whatever. I need some help. How am I doing here? What am I looking at?" And so then I tell them, "Well, have you tried not letting them bleed out?" And yeah, I just got that job. Haven't gotten very far into that one. But I've got 2 other jobs that I'm working on currently. I'm working for this guy who he's setting up immortify.com. And right now he has a bunch of dead people, presidents and famous scientists, and he has them up in like a VR 3D representation of their face, and I am impersonating them. And for some people like Nixon or people that we actually have recordings of, it's easy to do. But for Lincoln, you'd expect Lincoln, okay, he's going to be 77 years ago. But no, he was a tenor, and he was very bad at speech, but he was good at public speaking. And so, yeah, it's just very weird. So you have to actually.
So what does he
He's like the Mike Tyson.
What is the idea that he actually sounded like? That was a bad
Well,
sentence.
he was from Kentucky or
wow.
Tennessee rather, and so he had a very distinct drawl, and he was very dry, and he was definitely a tenor. So it would sound something like this: 7 years ago.
Huh. Interesting.
So yeah, that's kind of fun looking back at all of these um, well-known famous people and saying, what do they sound like? Not what do they look like, or yeah, whatever. And then I just got word that uh, a new one finally got up on Amazon Alexa. If you've got an Amazon Echo, you can hear my voice if you let's see here, download or activate the Animal Rescue app and play the Panda Rescue game. Yes, you can keep a panda growing and healthy until he can be released into the wild. It's for kids, not really for us, but it was fun to do. So that one I'm just finishing up, and it's finally going live. So if you want to take care of a panda, the Animal Rescue game on your Alexa. It's not on Google Play, unfortunately, but that's okay.
Well, if you guys have any questions in the live chat, go ahead and throw them in there. We'll get to those in a little bit.
So before we move on, what's the most difficult voice you've had to do, or that took the most research or practice? Is there like a dialect that's really tricky?
Well, I have tried my whole life to get a Welsh accent.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Literally, that was exactly what I was thinking, because it is so. They have such they almost have like a raspiness to them that's kind of weird. Or a lot of them. I
can't get their vowels. Their vowels are so weird.
They don't use vowels in Wales. It's like, have you ever seen a Welsh sign?
Oh yeah, they're crazy. They're just crazy. I mean, I can do a Londoner. That's no problem. I can do a posh British person. That's fine. I can even do a Scottish person if I really need to. But Welsh, I don't even know where to start. I have to pretend to be an alien. And I'm terribly sorry to any Welsh people out there, but you know your language is impossible.
Make Brooklyn says even the Welsh can't do Welsh.
No. Just crazy.
Cool. Well, let's actually get through what all we're working on, and we'll come back to some questions afterwards. So if you have any questions, throw them in the live chat, and we'll put them up here. So Zach, what you got going on?
Hammers.
Cool. Will, what you got going
on? Walnut everything. I feel like it's all I work in anymore. These stupid bar tops, I'm finally getting them. Like I took the tops to install this week, and things were a little bit different than they were when I looked at the job. So there's some design modifications that had to happen, and then I've been milling a ton of this long walnut for like trim and like sink aprons and just. So I got that going on. I've got the knife display case out of walnut. Then I've got this big slab walnut top, which I love walnut. It's beautiful, but I think I'm developing a toxicity to it. After I work with walnut, yes, walnut a lot. Even with like my air cleaner going and dust collection and a mask, like I almost feel kind of fluish the next day. And I was talking to another buddy of mine woodworking, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, it tears me up." So that kind of sucks. Because it didn't used to bother me, but now it does. And everybody wants walnut. So like, do I kill myself for, money, or, suggest
dust collection system?
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
For money.
Yeah. Right. Or just suggest you should really do that at a cherry. I like cherry better. I think cherry is the wood for you. Yeah. So I am working on cutting a bunch of bowl blanks and a video. I'm collaborating with Sam of DIY Huntress. She's just getting into turning, so we thought it'd be kind of cool to do a collaboration video on that. Yeah. So and she's awesome. I love everything she does. So, and actually, I just got an email from Joshua Farnsworth of Wood and Shop. I don't know if you guys are familiar with. Yeah. He's got about 20 minutes from me
today.
What's that?
He's one of the big reasons why I'm all hand tools.
That's interesting. Wow. So I just got an email from him, and he wants to work together on something. I might teach a class for him this year at his school. So that's kind of terrifying, actually. Teaching other people in person, not just making videos of it. So yeah, that's what I got going on. James, how about you?
Well, I did a video this week on sloyd hooks or bench hooks, and they're two bench hooks. And traditionally, it was a practice that you would give an apprentice, and it was a chance to learn chisel work. And so you take one block of wood, and out of that block of wood, you basically carve a bench hook, and then you cut the bench hook in two, so you have two of them to separate on the bench. And it was a really fun video. But at the beginning of the video, I said, I'm using this scrap of walnut that I have. And it is a block of walnut that's 2 inches thick by 8 inches wide by 4 foot long. And for me, it was a scrap I had lying around. I got for free behind a cabinet shop. They were throwing it out. And so I figured it'd be a perfect piece to work with that. And everyone's chewing me up that I'm calling it scrap and then chiseling out large chunks of it. And they're like, how do you waste that much walnut? It's like what grows around here like wild. That was a fun one. And then the strops. I finally put out the video on the how-to of strops. I've been asking a lot of that. So this week I've actually been shooting the how-to video on making buffing compound for the strops. So how do I actually go about making my own of that? So those should be fun videos that a lot of people have been asking for.
Very cool.
Yeah, lots of fun things. So we do have
thing none other than hammers.
What was it, Zach?
Well,
you want to talk about something actually?
I think so. I prototyped a couple of new hammers. Well, one style took me a few iterations to get there. So yeah, that's exciting. I finally got a cross peen. I like the way it came out. I just need to get better at forging them so that I can spend less time on the grinder. But that's the way it goes. I feel like with forging stuff is you just get better and better at it until you can do 99% of it without grinding. So that's exciting for me because that's something I haven't been able to offer. I finished up that post vise that I ordered a while ago, the leg vise from Andrew Alexander.
Oh, cool.
I built the base for that I really like. And it was nice. It was like it was a 2-day build. I built pretty much the whole thing in one day, and then I had another day to just paint it and put it together. So it went pretty quick, and it was just nice. It was easy to record. It was fast. I've since I haven't been doing much YouTube lately, it's kind of in my head. It's turning into a bigger deal than it actually is. So it was really nice to just set up and knock out a project really quick. So I just need to edit that, which who knows how long that'll take because it's really hard for me to force myself to sit down in front of the computer. But that post vise is amazing. Just having it, something that I can that's right next to my forge that I can, put things in and chuck up and whale on is really nice. So that's new. Gearing up to go to California for private forging lessons from John Williams of Guildworks, who is, I think, one of the best smiths in the country. So I'm really excited I don't even have an agenda. Like there's really nothing in particular. I just know that he's, 100 times better than me. So hopefully some of that'll rub off, but I'm going to be in Sacramento. I can't remember. It's like I think it's the 8th through the 12th or something like that. So if anybody's in the area, hit me up. Yeah, it's just I got a busy year coming up. I have Sacramento trip, Workbench Con the month after that in Atlanta. then spring make in Cleveland for Lincoln Electric, and then my wife and I are still tentatively planning on doing the Maker Central in England and moving at some point. So we got our hands full.
Sweet. So you are doing Maker Central?
That's the plan. I mean, I don't see any reason that we wouldn't, but we haven't bought tickets yet, so I'm not saying that. Not saying 100%.
Well, your wife should hang out with me and my wife.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just need to get all these other flights booked and stuff before I book that one. We might spend a few extra days since we've never actually been to England. We might spend a few days afterwards and like go stay in some city somewhere. Maybe go to Wales and see if we can figure out how to, pick up the speech.
Good luck.
Hang out with Anthony Hopkins.
Sweet.
We're buddies.
Your buds.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Well, one of the things I actually wanted to talk to on this podcast, because of having Jason on it, it's kind of a different idea, because we've always wanted to do like the Creators Collective being something wider than just woodworking. But that's like the main majority, other than the steelworking for Zack, or that's kind of a small world. Yeah.
The 2 or 3 people that come here to listen to me talk about forging and grinding and stuff.
Well, it's always been the plan with the podcast to make it a wider world of, leatherworking, electronics, and, digital making. How do you actually do this? Because when you come down to it, my business is, I don't make things, I make videos. So I make digital content. It just happens to be about making something physical. So I was kind of interested to see the juxtaposition with Jason's work, making something that's completely digital. You're actually making a digital file, and that's your product as well as what you're actually making.
Guess what I just made? I just made 2 perfect halves of a note card. I cut it right. I didn't make a line or anything. I was blown away. I cut it in half because I write my notes on them, and I cut them perfectly in half. No lines or nothing. No folds. That never happens. Anyway, I was pretty excited about that. Dead on. That's crazy. Anyway.
But this week I was making dovetails, and thought I completely messed them up. If you didn't see that, go to my Instagram page. If you want to see what really bad dovetails look like, I cut half-blind dovetails backwards, and so I made half-blind pyramids. But it made me suddenly think, Jason, what do you do because you don't have anything. If I mess up a project, I've messed up the project. I have to start from scratch and go all over, or find some way to rework it. Have you ever had anything like that in the digital world, or do you just, re-record?
Well, whenever I make a bad take, or I say something that, okay, that sounds like it should be what is said, but it's not actually on the script. I have one of these. It's a little dog training clicker, and you just press it, and it makes a really nice waveform for me to see later. And then I just go back and re-record it. Usually I can catch them while I'm recording and do that. And then when I go back and edit, I can just see, there was a mistake, and there was a mistake. And boy, oh boy, I just could not say that sentence for the longest time, and I have to keep scrolling until I find where I said it correctly. But occasionally I'll make I'll make a mistake, and it'll make it all the way to the client. And then they'll say, hey, this is an oops. And you just apologize and go back and fix it and send it back to them. It's really nice doing digital content, because all of that stuff, very easy to fix. I don't have to get a new piece of wood to start recording on, or remelt down my previous takes and reforge them into a new ring of power. That's what you should make. You should make a ring of power. In a world. No, I just go back and redo it, and it's nice and easy, because I'm not actually making any physical thing. So my iterations are very, very quick. And even the cost of just storing all of that data on my hard drive. I've been going at voiceover for over 2 years now, and I've only taken up like 80, 90 gigs of space on my hard drive. So digital is great because the iterations are very quick, and you can I can even give the client several different takes of, hey, I think this might be a good read, but I'll let you choose. Sometimes I'll do that, and it's like giving them 3 or 4 hammers and letting them pick which one they want to keep and throw the others away.
So what is because in woodworking or in making things, you have Etsy where you can sell things, or you have fairly obvious communities where you go for makers. But
Sure,
what are your communities? Where do you actually sell things?
Oh my, all over the place. My main bread and butter is the big audition sites: Upwork, Voices.com, TheVoiceRealm.com. I was doing TheVoiceBunny.com, but I really don't like how I never get to contact the client at all. And so, I'll talk to the bunny and they'll talk to the client, and that could take several hours or days before I get back. And then the bunny's like, come on, you need to produce the content and it needs to be done in hours. And I'm like, well, I haven't gotten, my questions answered yet. I can't. And so then so I'm like, no, nuts to that noise. That's stupid. I don't want any of this. Go on.
I can only imagine making a table that way.
Yeah. Oh. But with every individual facet of the table up in the air until you get confirmation back. Yeah. I have thought about going and doing. There are several places where you can actually make sound effects or that sort of stuff and put it up online. And then when people come and they're searching, they're like, "Oh wow, I want somebody yawning. Oh, this guy has produced 17 different yawns all in one. I will buy that for $1." And then you'll get 50 cents from each of those. And that's just me yawning in the booth while the mic is live and I'm recording, and then I just cut it and put it in another file. There are people who make their whole living selling sound effects. They'll be like, oh, this is really cool. Look, I can take these pieces of metal and clink them together, and it sounds like coins falling out of a coin or rattling around in a cash register or a coin pouch or something. And then
who was it?
That's interesting.
Did you guys see there was some video and the dude looked kind of like Zack Galifianakis, and it was pretending to be like the Foley room artist for The Bachelor, and all it was making like kissing noises. So he's like punching a bowl of Jello and like all these just disgusting like mouth noises. And it was shot seriously. It's one of the best things I've seen.
Okay.
In the past year of my life on the internet. It's like, I'm the Foley room artist for The Bachelor, and it's just it's funny. Definitely worth your time.
Yeah, it's like that. I forget what his name is, but he does Disney impersonations, and he is amazing. And he puts them up on YouTube, and he'll sing modern pop songs and going through all of the different voices of Disney characters while he's singing. And
gotta find that link.
Oh, he's just amazing, and I can never do a Winnie the Pooh. We'll put that up
I have
there
a pretty good Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
I've got a 3-year-old daughter, so.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh God, I can't do it on the spot. Jeez.
Yeah. See.
Yeah. Think. Yeah, that's what I got.
I posted the link to that The Bachelor Foley artist. It's the best thing you will see all day long, I promise you.
Oh my. Wow.
ManCrafted asks, so how many hours a week do you normally work?
Oh, well, this is my full-time job. So 9 to 5, 8 to 4. I'll usually work about 40 hours a week at it. When the kids go to bed, it gets really quiet, and then I can record, and I don't have to edit out any like stomping noises or the furnace going on, or have to yell at my kids. Hey, quiet down up there. They're dancing around right above my head.
I have to often do like, okay, Google, broadcast kids be quiet, I'm recording.
Okay, Google, broadcast again. Kids, silence. Yeah. So yeah, I do 40 hours a week, unless I've got a big a big gig, then I might do more. It does depend. With the regular job, like what I was working before, I work to get paid, but with this job, I work to get an opportunity to work to get paid. So I'm just this month I've put in almost 200 different auditions, and I'm not getting paid for those auditions. All of that is unbillable hours, but eventually they get me work, and then I get to. So if I've put in a whole week worth of work, and then somebody's like, hey, I need this before the weekend. Woohoo! Yay, work. So that's me up all night recording and editing. So
it's almost like the stuff of voice, right? Like stock photography and stock, where you're, kind of putting it out there and hopefully somebody bites, and you're trying to find a certain niche, however you say that word.
It does depend what. Over here in America, we'd call it a niche, but over in Britain, it's most likely a niche. Yes.
That's almost like a little bit of Doubtfire going on there. That's good. So what is there like, is there anything that stands out as like one of the weirdest things that you've done? There's got to be something that's
weirdest.
Wow, this is strange.
Yeah. Oh my. I've done some pretty weird things. Though most of the weird I stay away from. Because I don't record any profanity or explicit sexuality or any of that nonsense.
You're not doing the 50 Shades of Grey audiobook?
No, I'm not doing that one. No, I'm not even doing like 3 or 4 shade. No, I'm staying well before we fade to black. Yeah. So there was one audition call. They wanted a native Jamaican who could speak with a slight British accent, who had once lived in Texas to record their voicemail message.
That's how do you even come up with that?
I have no idea.
That's very, very specific.
Yeah, and then
do you ever get like run the risk of sounding like racist? Like
oh yeah,
if I have to do this voice just perfectly so I don't offend, to be that like totally.
Oh yeah, totally. I need a T-shirt that says I'm sorry, I'm not mocking you, I just can't help it, I'm a voice artist. I went on a cruise when I was a kid to Alaska. We got a really good deal. We didn't have any money, but we got a really good deal on it, and it was just chock full of all of these Europeans and all of these Asians, and I was just like, oh, this is great. And we spent one afternoon doing a trivia game show with these ladies. One of them was Irish and one of them was British, and so I was just kind of sitting there for about 10 minutes listening to them, and then I said something and they were like, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. And they were like,
what did the Jamaican culmination accent sound like?
Oh, I didn't try out for that one. I just the other day I did a Jamaican accented troll, and so he was this they wanted the Jamaican patois, all right, and so you put on the Jamaican, and then you got to get it all raspy. Here, man, what are you looking at, man?
Jamaican Irish descent.
Yeah, and that
was going to say Scottish Jamaican. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was for one of those. I tended to switch over to pirate, so that was where I had to use the little dog clicker to be like, no, less pirate, more rasp. So that was a fun one. That was for one of those mobile games. So if you hear a Jamaican troll when you're playing your mobile game, that's that job.
I'm sorry. ManCrafting in the live comment. I always order Chinese food with a Chinese accent. I figure they appreciate it. I always appreciate when people from other parts of the world use a perfect Midwestern accent.
I have so much fun ordering through the drive-thru.
Oh, I bet.
So let me see.
Did you guys ever see the?
No, I wanted to.
Did you
I
ever
wanted
see
to hear
the
the
viral video?
I want to hear the
Oh,
order.
yeah.
Yeah, let's hear that.
Let's see, I'll take 4 of your number 5. No, wait, hold on just a moment. What's that you've got there? Is that a taco? I don't want no taco. Maybe a burrito.
And then when you pull up, you're like, thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't order the burrito. No, I ordered the tacos. This is unacceptable. I'll be in the gallery.
Did you guys ever see
I think we need your brother on every show.
We do. He's before and after.
Did you guys ever see the Elmo goes to the drive-thru video a few years back?
That would be
like
fun.
they'd come up like at like midnight to Taco, be like, Elmo would like 2 tacos. And the person was like, what? There's like, I said Elmo would like. And the people are getting really angry. It's funny. Go check it out. I'll try to find it somewhere.
I have also worked in a drive-thru, and that.
Oh man!
Oh wow!
That'd be good.
So much fun.
I feel like that could be like a YouTube channel right there. It's just you
abusing drive-thru people.
Yeah, or wherever, just in general. Like I would watch that.
Oh.
Just so you know, our mother is actually listening to the podcast right now, and she asked, "So, what is your favorite voice to do?"
Oh wow!
Can you do your mother?
No. Refer back to the trying not to insult people thing. So yes. My favorite voice to do is one I get paid for. I love that voice. That is such a fun voice. But just for fun, I do enjoy the various British dialects. When I get tired, I sometimes I fall down into my southern accent. And I should pick this one up when I was down south, and the southern people didn't even know I was a Yank, and so. But yeah, that's fun. I really enjoy. One of my first accents that I picked up was Scottish. Watching Scotty yell at Kirk, "It can't be done, Captain. You need more power. I don't got any more power for you, laddie."
Good stuff.
So good.
Mick Brooklyn has another question. What was your first gig as a real voiceover artist?
Oh well, that's actually very very fortuitous. Make Brooklyn talking about my first accent. My first accent was a New Jersey. He was like this New Jersey person who was part of an app, right? And he was training the new guy who was in charge of death, right? So this guy would put people on the boat, and he would take them across the river Styx, and he would take the coin from them. Don't fall in the water. Whatever you do, don't fall in the water. All right. And yeah, so that was a fun one for my first.
Can you do a Christopher Walken?
I'd have to wind up to do a Christopher Walken. Yeah, have to listen to some of him.
Got such weird inflection and like pauses in his
Most
speech.
of his is pace and pauses. Yeah, so to do a proper Christopher Walken, it takes a while. And
you just need more cowbell.
Oh yeah, got a fever.
He's one of my absolute favorites.
The chat right now is completely packed with can you do Canadian? Can you do your dad? Can you do French Canadian?
Yes, and that's the other thing I get. You tell people, hey, you're a voiceover actor, and then they're like, oh wow, hey, do this real quick. And you're like, well, I'd have to listen to some YouTube video of the guy talking for a while, and then work up to it. And also Canadian. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've tried doing Canadian.
That was pretty good.
It always.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It
sorry.
always-
I'm sorry.
Oh no, that was actually my French accent. Sorry. No, it always comes out a little stereotypical. I haven't quite gotten it down to. So yeah, I can do a stereotypical Canadian. Don't even worry. Though that's sort of a Minnesotan right there.
Yeah.
So really, where is the dividing line between a Canadian and a Minnesotan? Probably right at the passport.
So what's the most foreign U.S. accent? Would you think it's like the kind of Louisiana thing, or like what's the strangest?
Oh yeah,
Doesn't
probably
belong in the U.S. Like that.
probably
That
the Creole. Yeah, that
That's
that
an
that
interesting
very weird mix of French and American and a little bit of Spanish thrown in there just to confuse people.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest one to just jump into, because I can do a Southern at the drop of a hat. I can do my Midwestern accent very well. And yeah, I can do the Brooklyn. I can go over to the Portland area and do that. I can do the Minnesotan.
Which Portland, Maine,
Yeah, no, not Maine. The other side,
Oregon?
Oregon. Yeah.
That's where I'm from.
Oh, okay. There you go.
What do they sound like? What do we sound like?
It sounds like American.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that whole West Coast. That's like the standard vanilla like.
It's your general American accent. That's what you would hear on the news. So when you're hearing Tom Brokaw or all of those people, they're speaking in that sort of an accent. And then of course there's the transatlantic accent. That's really fun. But wait, all good morning, America, and all ships at sea. So
you should come to Virginia just to travel, like to go from the coast, like through the Appalachians, like into because there's like 50 dialects just in Virginia.
Oh yeah.
That like the Appalachian is weird because like they were, kind of isolated for so long that they have like this weird like Southern British. It's very weird.
Yeah, everybody has their own little accent, and it's really fun just to listen to people. Watching like YouTube, you find these people, and you're like, wow, that they've got this weird like lisp or intonation that they do, but that's just how their whole community speaks.
Instead of saying color, they say Keller.
Oh yeah, that just grinds my gears. Yeah, when people abuse the English language so.
And they say things like across.
Across with the T?
That's the correct way to say
James.
No.
That's how James says it. Nope.
It's spelled that way even.
Or forward. Or forwards. Towards.
Yeah. Towards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, I had one client just recently correct me. Okay. So up at the top of your little Google Hangouts screen here, it says HTTPS : what are those next two marks? How would you pronounce those?
/ /.
Yes.
James got it for once. Yes.
Congratulations. They are technically /, but colloquially, everybody calls them backslashes.
Did you catch it at the beginning of the episode?
Yeah.
James said backslash. Yep.
Yeah. So they're like, it's actually a /. And I'm like, I've never heard it called that. What? When I did my technical training gig for Texas Instruments, they wanted it called a backslash. And it's not.
Jonathan 24 wants to ask you a question.
Oh, you wanted to ask me a question. All right. Don't worry about it there. Go ahead. Just ask your question.
Well, the last question we have on the list is actually from Mancrafted, and it says, I don't know if I should ask this question, but what's your best James Wright story?
Oh my. Oh, wow. I have to narrow it down to one. Well, I don't know if you know this. You can kind of see from behind his head. He likes to collect things. So growing up, he was the collectionaholic. He had a Rust collection.
That sounds so James.
With just a collection of, oh, I found this rusty bit of something and had to get a tetanus shot. I'll keep it. And so there was just this box of rust he had sitting around.
Yeah, it's some cool rusted things, okay?
You had some train rail ties, or the nails, and that was weird. I don't know where you got those, or what caused the train accident of 1894. No. And then the weirdest thing, I don't know, James, if you intended to have this collection just to disgust me, but your spit collection was the grossest thing I've ever seen. Just this test tube filled with spit. Yuck.
It took me a long time to fill that thing.
Oh, so nasty.
Oh, that's gross. That's
yeah. Well, you know, we were like 12 and 13 at the time, so boys, yes, this was before the internet. This is what happens without internet.
Mom just posted the brick to the head story.
That wasn't James happening. That was me. I was discovering physics. We had
teeter totter out with a shovel with a brick on one end and him on the other, and the brick went up and over and into his forehead. And I went running to my dad and said, "Dad, Jason's got a hole in his head."
Okay, to be honest, the first brick sailed over my head quite successfully and hit the tree and gouged out a big chunk of bark. And I thought, that's cool. Let's try it again. What if I cut down the whole tree with bricks? And the second one was not so successful.
Good memories. Well, this week we're not going to do the Creators Photo Challenge. That is due next week, and it is the topic of motion. So get in your picture on Instagram and hashtag Creators Photo Challenge, and you'll be entered to win something from the three of us. So have a picture with something moving, motion, or the expectation of motion. I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, conveying motion in your image.
A brick about to hit you in the head.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the joke of the week, Jason, do you have a joke you want to put up there?
Oh my. Let me think about it for a second.
Okay. Well, then while you're thinking.
Okay, I got it.
Oh, you got one? Okay.
Yeah. Did you hear? Disney just awarded their first Nobel Prize. They awarded it to Gaston. Nobel Prize.
Yes, I like it.
I don't get it.
Sorry, I have two little girls, so we watch Beauty and the Beast all the time.
You know, Belle, the main character.
No, Belle.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
He who laughs last usually had to have it explained.
Oh.
Nice. Well, let's talk about what's inspiring us. What are some of the things we've been watching, reading? Will, what you got?
So I have Make Everything did.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Well, while we're waiting for Will, Jason, what are you watching or reading?
Oh my. I've just been kind of binging on things. My wife and I we like to watch series together, so we've just been starting Babylon 5 again. It's like episodic
time through it.
Yeah, something like that. It's like Star Trek, but with the political machinations of Game of Thrones, but with the cheesy, campy costumes of the 90s and 80s. So it's really fun. I really enjoy Babylon 5. They need to make a good,
really good storyline too.
Oh,
really
fantastic! And it ends well, which I always appreciate. But then I'm just going to throw all the things out here. But I've recently been playing the game Prey, which it starts out with this very this very creepy, very scary, very kind of jump scare kind of environment. Feels like Resident Evil 1, where you're running low on ammo the whole time, but it's in space, and you're trying to get away from these things that will change into coffee cups and change into chairs and then attack you. It's very, very creepy. But then it turns into this psychological thriller in the latter half. So I'm really enjoying that. And then the last thing, I just started playing the remake of Blades of Exile 3: A Ruined World. It's Avernum 3: A Ruined World. This guy has remade this game 3 times since the 80s, since he made it the first time. And finally, he's taken out a lot of the stuff that I didn't enjoy and kept in all the stuff that I did enjoy. So I'm reliving my childhood in glorious 1080p, finding all the things, killing slimes, talking to spiders. So good. I love it.
Look forward to going to that one.
Yeah, so that's what's inspiring me this week.
Cool. Well, I have to give a shout out to Mike Boyd. He is the YouTube channel where he learns something, a new skill, whether it be juggling or whatnot. He recently has done a series about how to learn, and does he really learn things quickly, or can other people do it too? Fascinating channel. And if you ever get a kick out of learning something new, or that aha moment when something comes alive, definitely worth checking out. His channel is phenomenal. I think this is like the 3rd or 4th time someone here has mentioned him. So yeah. What did you got, Zach?
So I'm still reading that same gigantic graphic design book. It's huge. So I've been thumbing my way through that, and it's kind of off topic, but my wife and I started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and it's funny.
Sweet. Hey, Will, you're back.
Hey, I'm back.
So what you watching or reading?
Oh, did I cut out?
Yeah, you cut out right as you started.
It was everything. The $100 Harbor Freight knife shop. Did I cut again?
Yeah, you're really broken up.
It's okay, man. You don't have to be
to translate, Will is referring to the Make Everything just set up a $100 knife shop using only things from Harbor Freight. Really cool series. I kind of like that. So you don't need the money to make great things. Let's get into what's our favorite tool of the week. Zach, what you got?
Somebody else.
Fine then. Will, are you live?
If you can hear me, can you hear me?
Better.
Okay. Toolworks. I'm working with them on this bowl turning video, and they're sending out a 5-inch bowl gouge with a 40-degree grind.
And to translate, that is Carter and Sons Tools. They're sending out a 5/8 bowl gouge with a 40-degree grind. But yeah, I'll leave a link to that down below. That actually is really cool. I like that one. Zach, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm going to go with my variable speed angle grinder. It's cool. It's great. There's a lot of, you know what? Yeah, okay. Now I have one for next week too. But yeah, no, it's really good for like any sort of metal finishing, polishing. A lot of those, like I have the ones I use are from Ferret Abrasives, but like even the stuff that they sell at Home Depot, like those kind of spongy, Scotch British looking pads, the discs, they're great for stripping off like scale and rust and that sort of thing. But when you run them at 13,000 RPMs, they don't last long at all. You can actually run them at like 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, and they last a long time, and they work just as well. So it's definitely paid for itself in the abrasives that I haven't destroyed.
Cool. Jason, what you got?
Well, my favorite tool this week is my DBX 286S. It's a voice processing unit. You plug your microphone into it, and then you plug it into your interface. But it allows me to filter out a whole bunch of stuff and kind of very lightly sweeten my voice before it actually goes into the computer, so I can do podcasts and live stuff. Or if I'm Skyping with a client, I can sound really good and really nice. And it's got this little tool right here where I can turn up the bass, and I can sound like I'm on the radio, and I want you to listen, and it's very important.
You sound like Nathan Fillion.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Can I quote you on that? A voice like Nathan Fillion.
Cool. Well, I've got to go with Smooth-On's silicon mold making liquid rubber. I'm making molds to cast buffing compound for the strops. And so this is kind of fun to play with. And actually, Jason 3D printed some of the blanks for me so I can actually cast them. So that'll be coming up in an upcoming video. But I kind of like that stuff. And now I want to actually play with casting more things. And I'm thinking about casting some epoxy. So we'll see. Yeah, so I think that is about it for this week. Am I missing anything, guys? I don't think so. I want to say a huge thank you to Jason for coming on. If you want to see more of his stuff, you got to go to withamic.com. And if you want to just have a good time, go there and listen to some of his voices. And they're well worth a while to play through. And if you're making a podcast and want a pre-run or a postlude, he's your man.
Not all of the stuff that I do is crazy and weird. I can do just a regular podcast intro.
Cool. I think that'll about do it. So until next time, have a wonderful day.